Oh hey, now that I have your attention, we're going to talk about pull-ups for a while. You might have this kind of physique here, and you might have this kind of physique here. Both of them exist on the far ends of a bell curve though. Most people are right around the middle. What does it matter if you're either one of these? The short gymnast style person is going to have a shorter arm span. That way they can get to the bar and do pull-ups easier because they have a better leverage to the bar. The people that are taller and have a very long wingspan, it's going to take them quite a long time to get them up with their chin above the bar at least, or God forbid getting the bar to their sternum style of pull-ups. Regardless of your genetic disposition, it doesn't really matter. Your goal is to get good at them regardless of how you were born or who your parents were. Genetics does not matter. Get that out of your head. To get good at pull-ups, you need to do certain things in a certain way, and I'm going head to toe and talking about how to get good and master your pull-ups. First stop on the head to toe, master your pull-up section, hands, your grip, where the bar is supposed to be in your hands. Let's go to it. And sure, there's a ton of placements you could put your hands, but we're going to put a pin on that conversation for a minute. And we're going to talk about actually how to grip the bar. So here, I have a handle, and it's going to mimic my hand grasping a bar. So you might think to put your entire hand in here so it looks like this. Okay? Now, we might save this for advanced users, but for beginners, let's put this handle right in the knuckles of your fingers, just like this. That's where you're going to want to be. Not up in your hand. You know, that has a disposition to curl your wrist. I'm going to put it right around in here. So what this actually looks like on a bar, here is putting your entire hand on the bar. Okay? And here is putting your finger knuckles on the bar. It creates a straight line here versus having your whole hand here. If you grip, it's going to put a kink right here. So just lower your hands a little bit, get them right in there in that knuckle of the fingers. So you almost want your big knuckles to be farther back. And here's a side profile of that. That way you can see what I'm talking about. This, more of the bar is touching the palm of my hand. So I'm going to lower it to be more correct. It's going to be right around here. That way the knuckles on my fingers are holding it versus up in here. So we covered hand placement, where to put your actual hand on the bar. So next, we're going to discuss where the elbows go. The body part that actually controls your elbow is your shoulder. So wherever your shoulder goes, that's ultimately where your elbow is going to go. And this seems pretty basic, but this is an underlying concept and core fundamental of where your elbows need to go to do your pull-ups and your chin-ups. Wherever you place your hands, as far as grip goes, determines where your elbow is going to go. For example, a wider grip is going to make your shoulder adduct, adduction, bringing your elbow closest to the midline, like you see here. It does this motion. Another shoulder movement pattern that primarily contracts the lats is shoulder extension. And you can train that on your pull-ups and chin-ups with a more narrow grip like you see here. So more within shoulder width. So adduction trains the lats, but also shoulder extension trains the lats. But wait, we haven't talked about supination and pronation, which in gym bro terms means doing this way or doing that way. This is supination and this is pronation. But does it even matter? Does it even matter if you do it this way versus that way? Well, EMG will tell you that if you go this way, it hits more bicep because the main function of the bicep is to supinate the arm, and you're actually going through a full range of motion with flexing the arm. So on theory and on paper, that's one of the best bicep loaders you could do. So pronation is going to be more of that forearm. And you're talking the arm a part of it. But as far as the back gains go, you're just going to have to try it out and see. Anecdotal experience is always better than stupid studies. It's always how it's going to be. Your body, you're an individual, you're your own experiment. Do what you got to do. Try things out. Do a block of like 12 weeks of one way. Do a block of 12 weeks the other way. Document the progress. See what got bigger. See what got smaller. Do all of these things. There's countless combinations and countless ways to train adduction and extension doing pull-ups and chin-ups. There's so many different grips, styles, widths. You just have to play around with it. It's a fun style and fun movement and exercise to just play around with. Like you're back at the monkey bars when you were a kid. Super fun. Try different things. Different widths. Different grips. There's neutral. Neutral's hitting more of your brachioradialis. It's amazing. So now we talked about what shoulder movement does with your elbow. Now we got to talk about what actually moves your shoulder around. And that's going to be your upper back, traps, scapula, and a little bit of your chest too. If you noticed, if you round your chest over a little bit, your shoulders over a little bit, you'll feel a little chest contraction too. Believe it or not, there's a ton of controversy and debate in the fitness industry about what the heck to do with your shoulder blades when you are doing your pull-ups and chin-ups. So one of the first things we always debate about is, should you scapular depress before you pull up? And that's what this would look like. So right here, I'm relaxed, right? So scapular depression would be this. You see that? It's very subtle. But you're basically just reverse shrugging. Your arm stays straight. Nothing up here moves. It's your scapula. So you're doing a reverse shrug. You're shutting them down. It's the exact same thing they tell you to do on bench press. Shoulders down and back. It's the exact same thing. And they tell you to do it on pull-ups too. Now, I would say I personally kind of agree with it. I think you should allow that motion to happen, but I think you should allow it to happen naturally. So I don't think you should be thinking in your head, oh, I need to depress, then pull. I think you need to be thinking of both at the exact same time. So at the very top, you're not shrugging up. You still want to be proud in your pull-up. So that would look like this. You see at the very top, I wasn't scrunched over. I wasn't like this up there. I was still proud up there. So you can combine the two. You can combine your pull-up with the scapular retraction and depression while you're doing the pull-up. Just do it combine the two steps into one. But if I were training someone on the pull-up and they would bring up this concern of what the heck to do with their scapula, which would probably never happen, I'm not going to really call it out. All right, unless they're really struggling and I really see that shoulder dumping forward, then I really wouldn't call it out. And you can test this right at home. You can stand here and you can try to force your elbows down while you're just relaxed like this. If you try to force your elbows down, you'll notice it'll contract your lats. All right, so shoulder adduction, shoulder extension, and then depressing your scapula activates your lats too. And the pull-up does all of those things. It's amazing. So I like to think about it when I'm at the very top to really get my elbows down there, really squeeze my elbows into my back, squeeze them into my side, try to get this down. Instead of shrugging, think down. You should definitely consider subbing up too. It's free. It's free for everyone. Doesn't hurt anybody. Just do it. Thank you. Thank you in advance. Appreciate you. We've covered a lot so far. Covered hands, grip placement, supination, pronation, what to do with your shoulder, how different grips affect where your elbow is going to go. We talked about your scapula, retraction, depression, all of these things. Another topic of debate in the fitness industry as well as calisthenics world, is should you have an open chest or a hollow body? Let's go talk about it. What does it matter if you extend your upper back while you do chin-ups or pull-ups, or if you crunch down and have more of a hollow body? I think this has a lot to do with your shoulder mobility overhead, okay? So if you can do a shoulder overhead test with your abs contracted, you're not already in a dumped position. So if your abs are down, you're in a stacked rib cage. If you try to get your elbow over your head, how far can you get it? Can you get your biceps by your ears? Are you about here? Are you here? Sometimes I've seen some people here. So if you can't naturally get your arm as straight as possible with your rib cage down, you're probably going to end up being a pull-upper from more of this position. Okay? It's just the anatomy you have at your current mobility you have right now. And that's a-okay. The hollow body guys, people that are pretty much going to remain straight the entire time they do a pull-up, probably have a little more of that mobility. For me, I'm right there in the middle. I like the hollow body ones. I feel like I can get I like the hollow body ones. I feel like I can get a bit more lat, but I really can only do those with my hands more narrow, especially in the chin-up style. That feels a lot better to me. When I do wide grips, I like having my back arched a bit more, chest up, a bit more proud in that position there. And again, these are just my anecdotal experiences. Done thousands upon thousands of workouts of chin-ups in my life, of pull-ups in my life, just trying to share with you guys what I see to be true and kind of dispel some facts or misinformation, disinformation from what I have seen. I don't think either style is wrong. Test out your mobility, see what works for you. If a dead hang hurts, if you're just here and you just hang and something's hurting, you probably need to work on some shoulder mobility. And that's fair. We probably all do. But if you're able to go wide and pull up with your back a bit more arched and it feels fine, do that. One of the best lessons I've ever learned, someone taught me, was if it hurts, don't do it. And by hurting, I mean like joint pain, bad pain. If it's muscular pain and you're hitting the targeted desired area, who can tell you no? That's the thing. Who is going to tell you no if what you're doing is hitting the appropriate area that you want to hit and it's growing and you're not getting injured? Who's going to say anything else? They can't. The key is to always listen to your body. That's where I'm going with this. Listen to your body. If you want to do a hollow body style where you're a bit more crunched down, where you're a bit more straight up and down, or if you want to do them wide with your back super arched, doesn't bug me none at all. Doesn't bug me one bit. What should you do with your legs? Oh my God, we didn't even think about legs. Legs are involved in a pull-up and chin-up? Absolutely. Absolutely they are. And there's different things you got to do when you have different equipment, different setups. It just is what it is. And I can vouch for this. I have some experience going both ways. I'm sure you do too. Let's see what we're talking about. But you guys look at something here, okay? And anyone that has a doorway frame pull-up bar is going to have this struggle, especially if they're over 6 foot. Okay, check this out. This is where my feet are. Right? No matter where I am on this bar, my feet are going to be touching the ground. Okay? So what I have to do is I have to fold my legs over. All right? That's not typically what I like to do. It's not my favorite way to train pull-ups, but I have to do what I have to do. If I'm at home and it's freezing out and I have to do these inside, I have to cross my legs and lift up my heels. Don't like doing that. I like doing pull-ups with more straight leg. I will do that outside in the home gym. You know, I'm hanging from the squat rack bar or the rings. I like having my feet straight. I feel like I have more of a total body contraction and more drive through my whole body to help me assist on the pull-ups versus having my knees bent. I don't know if anyone else has that same experience, but you pretty much got to work with what you got. If you have a pull-up bar that's close to your head height, you're probably going to have to bend your knees. If you have a pull-up bar that's, you know, closer to a little bit out of reach of your reach, you can have straight legs. I prefer a straight leg pull-up. That's just me. That's my anecdote. That's my experience. You could be rocking bent leg pull-ups all you want and you're freaking jacked and massive. Depends on what setup you got. Depends. It just depends. If this was even lower, I would still have to bend my knees. You can still do pull-ups. Doesn't really matter. But just my experience, the straight leg, toes pointed straight, kind of like you would see on a gymnast doing rings. They're contracting their quads, pointing their toes and feet. Everything is just one unit. I like that. Feel better. Just me personally. Ton of gym bros kick up their feet behind them and get to work. Does it really matter? In the day, probably not. You're better off doing any style you can to get weekly pull-up volume in. Doesn't really matter. I've discussed everything we should be doing with our body during a pull-up. There was no stone unturned. Hands all the way down to your feet and legs. Awesome. What about some regressions? What if you can't even do one right now? I'm still going to be talking about this. So I'm going to help you out with my favorite style of regression on doing pull-ups. Here are those now. Most people can lower themselves. The contraction or the concentric part of the rep is usually the hardest, you know, getting your chin above the bar. But anyone can either hold their weight and lower the weight. You can lower about 40% more than you can hold, and you can hold about 40% more than you can contract up. So have a chair set up like you see here, okay? And this chair is going to propel you up to the top. So I'm using the chair here to push me up to the top, okay? So now what you're going to do here is hold for as long as possible. And once you've reached your desired hold for as long as possible, you're going to lower as slow as possible. I don't care how slow it is. I don't care if you have 1 second at the top and your negative is only 1 second. I don't even care. This is how I helped get my pull-ups into the 4, 5s, and 6s. That way I can do a full set of 4, 5, and 6 for about 3 times to get a good workout in. So absolutely use the chair to get isometrics at the top, which means holding it, lowering it slowly, you know, abusing the eccentric, and reap the benefits. Those are 2 parts of the rep a lot of people often ignore. The hold at the top and the lowering. They're very important. Contraction matters, but lowering the rep and holding matters too. Especially if you can't do this part of the rep, you can absolutely hold the bar for as long as you can, because you can, and you can lower it. You can lower it back down, and you have the chair to assist you. That is hands down my favorite way to regress the pull-up, especially if you don't have a lot of equipment. If you have the pull-up bar, you can get $30 at your local wherever. I got mine at a retail place that resells gym stuff. It's $30. Obviously, you might have a chair around or a stool. Put it under there. That way you have excellent progress in your pull-ups, even if you can't do one. It's possible. You can do it. Some other things people do is they attach a band to the top of the pull-up bar. Either put their knees inside the loop of the band or their feet in there. I like that. I've used that. But for the people that want the least out of the most, just do the just do the chair way. It's the way to do it. I like the bands. I've used them on my clients. Bands can snap and hurt you in places. We've all seen videos like that. The chair is not going to hurt you. It's my anecdotal experience and what I've done. You can do them. I don't care. Bands are awesome. I train with bands all the time. I do strand pulling all the time. They're great. However, for regression on pull-ups, that's just what I recommend. Another regression on pull-ups is just doing a lat pull-down machine. You're mimicking the same motion, except you're in a chair, secured down, and you can really focus on weight. Another reason it's good is because, let's say you're bulking. If you're bulking, your pull-up numbers are going to go down naturally. I would like to try to keep my pull-ups as high as possible while I'm bulking, but the fact remains, if you're 10 or 20% heavier, your pull-ups are going to suffer, just period. Doesn't matter. So you can just hop on the lat pull-down machine and crank out as much reps and sets you want with a higher poundage. That way you still have the strength to come back to your pull-ups when you're in a more of a body comp or a cutting phase. That's just an idea. Or if you don't even care about bulking or cutting, go to the lat pull-down machine. If you can't get enough weekly volume in on your pull-ups, go to the lat pull-down machine. It's a great regression. Superset them. Do as many as you can on the pull-ups. Go right to the lat pull-down and crank them out. No one's going to bat an eye. It's an amazing way to do it. Tax the hell out of the lats. You know, your body needs to see that you're putting in effort. That way it'll change for you. It's a great regression. Another good regression is if you have rings, if you have gymnastic rings. Everyone can do a ring row. I mean everyone. I haven't really met anyone that can't do a reverse row, whether it be on a Smith machine, with rings, something is possible. There's a regression even for that. Even as you raise or lower these rings, it can raise or lower the difficulty. It's like having your own personal way to regress however you need to on your time. Highly recommend rings. You don't have to have them, but it's a great regression to pull-ups, ring rows. I use them a lot. How would I actually recommend you train them? So if someone came to me and said, I'm in an area of my life, in my fitness journey, where I want to get my pull-ups better, what would I do? I would ask them, what do you mean by better? And where are you at now? All right, let's just say, for instance, what they mean by better is they want more reps, and eventually they want to do weighted pull-ups. All right, I'd say, where are you at now? They can do 3 sets of 5 currently at their body weight. All right, perfect. So 3 sets of 5 are their max. I'm going to say we're going to train 2 times a week with your pull-ups. And it's going to be first and foremost on your back days. So if you have back days, do them first on your back days. If you train upper lower, train them first on your upper day. So you can either do push-pull legs, upper lower, bro split. I don't care what split you're doing. Just whatever day you normally would do back movements, you're going to do them first. And I would recommend throwing them in a second time somewhere else. If you don't hit back twice a week, I'd recommend throwing them in somewhere. Maybe on a hamstring or calf day or on another upper day, something. You can throw them in. We need to be doing them twice a week. And we need to be doing 2 different types of pull-ups or chin-ups. So the first time you come in, fresh from the week, you want to emphasize your wide grip pull-ups. Okay? On the second one, during the week, 48 to 42 hours later, 48 to 72 hours later, maybe you want to do close grip chins. Totally fine. You just need to have 2 different workouts a week to get good volume in. So if you're at 3 sets of 5, if this imaginary person was at 3 sets of 5 and he wants more reps, and let's play pretend, and let's say I told him you need to do 5 sets of 5, right? But he can only do 3 sets of 5. You need to still add some sets to that workout. So let's do 5 by 5. 1 week, you got 3 sets of 5 with 1 set of 4, 1 set of 3. Cool. You're going to stick with that. The next time you do that workout, you're going to work on that 4th set. So you still got your first 3 by 5. That in week 2, you got 1 more set of 5, and you got 1 more set of 4. Awesome. You completed 4 by 5. So in the next week, you might be able to complete the entire 5 by 5. Excellent. So by adding some volume to that individual's workout, it might help him out. Now he's getting 25 strict pull-ups every week, along with his other workout he's doing. So if you're only doing 3 sets and your max is 5 each time, add sets to that. Add sets to that workout. That's how you're going to get a bit more of that volume in, just for that particular person. You know, I'm not saying that to you. That's just a random made up fictional character I made up in my mind. What if it was someone that he obviously can do like 4 sets of 10 and he wants to improve his pull-ups. If you can do 4 sets of 10, I think you're ready for weighted. If you can do 4 sets of 10 in a timely fashion, like under 10 to 12 minutes with your rest times, you probably add some weight to it. So I would recommend getting a weight belt, adding some weight. Start off with 5 pounds or 2 kilos and go from there. But I would recommend the same thing. Start off with probably 3 sets of 5. You want to add a weight to your body where 5 is going to be hard, and a little bit goes a long way. A little bit of weight on your pull-ups goes a ton of way. Tell you that by experience too. So don't be thinking you're making 10-pound or 5-kilogram jumps whenever you feel like it. Use small micro plates if necessary, small little jumps, small little wins, and you're on your way to way better pull-up numbers. So take the micro loading seriously and make it small gradual jumps instead of these big ones. If you make all these big ones, you might fail to hit all your reps you need to stimulate the growth and the strength you need. Long story short, too long didn't read. Prioritize them in your workout. Put them in first. Prioritize progressive overload with micro loads if you're adding weight to them. And if you're adding reps, 1 at a time is plenty of improvement. 1 rep goes a long way. 1 rep times 52 weeks is 52 reps. It's impressive even if you add 1 more rep to any movement, not just pull-ups, any movement. You're doing a heck of a lot of good work. So there we have it. How you can master pull-ups in right around 30-minute time frame. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, concerns. Throw them my way. Don't forget to check out Udong Fitness for a chest expander, 5% off, code Dre. Helps me out. Do it if you don't really care. But if you like chest expanders and need one at a discount, I got you. I want to appreciate you for coming in to my pull-up TED Talk, essentially. Please sub up, subscribe. That's the same thing. And I'll see you guys next time.